Welcome to Crawl Walk Run. And today I'm going to be talking about 7 reasons why I believe that we should all write. So I have been writing for a little over a year. And in the last 1 year, I'm trying to get into the habit of writing almost on a weekly basis. And I must admit, it's really tough. Because I have a day job and on weekend I have to teach my kids, but I try to find some time to connect with my community. Now, there is one very interesting thing I realized that how much writing is giving back to me as a person, and I wanted to share that with all of you because I feel that all of us should write. So here are the 7 reasons why I feel that you should write too. Reason number 1. Writing is the ultimate form of reflection. Now, why do I say that? My style of writing is primarily reflection based, which means if you take up one of my blogs, what you will realize is maybe I went through a situation, maybe I went through a particular tough situation that I was dealing with, and I had to reflect through it. How do I reflect? I read books, maybe I talk to my mentors, I self reflect, and once all of that has happened, that's when I start penning my thoughts to understand, to structure my own self awareness. What did I go through? And when I'm writing, I'm internalizing my own behavior, the way I reacted to certain situations. How could I have done it better? So when I do that, it becomes an ultimate form of reflection. And therefore, when I write, I'm being more self aware. I'm being more aware of how did I behave? Could I have done that better? What is my advice to somebody else if they were to be dealing with the same situation ever before? So that's the whole intent, that writing makes you more self-aware. Just for example, I wrote a blog on what happens when culture goes bad, where I talk about how microcultures can go bad. That blog took me around 2 months to write, maybe even more. The reason is not that I was writing slowly. It was just that I had to go through several rounds of reflection, self awareness, looking at myself from the balcony in order to be able to pen those thoughts. And maybe you should read that blog to understand what does that self-reflection do. And I'm sure you will not find a similar blog anywhere else because it's just my story, it's my reflection. Reason number 2. Writing helps me learn from your stories. Now, this happened quite recently where I not only write blogs, I even post on LinkedIn. In one of my posts quite recently, I wrote about integrity, which is my own interpretation and my son's interpretation of what integrity is, where we often say that integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching. And we use that proverbial statement very often in a house. However, you should read what Sanjay Anand had to say about integrity. And I believe that is so profound because what he talks about how integrity has a limit to everyone. Everyone has a price for integrity. I've read that post so many times and I feel that is just truth. And this is where the whole point is that if you write, you share your thoughts and then you become open to listen to other people's reflections, which help you learn more. It has helped me learn more about my own philosophies of leadership, product management, etc. Reason number 3. Writing helps me feel good. So when I started writing just for the sake of it. But I started receiving responses from people saying, hey, that article you wrote really had a positive impact on me. I had so many people who have written back to me saying, I followed your interview tips and guess what? I landed a job in Microsoft or some other company. That I didn't even imagine that my writing can actually influence somebody's career or it could influence somebody's life. This was not even remotely in my radar of thinking. But when you hear that, you feel more inclined to write. So it gives you that adrenaline rush that you have been positively able to impact somebody else's life. And I have a strong belief that all of us, all human beings, have their stories, their learnings. And once we write, we think deeply because we are trying to share, and therefore we all can make that positive impact on almost everyone around us. Reason number 4, writing helps me learn a lot. See, the fact is, when you're writing and when you're sharing, there is a little bit of a teacher in you, right? And teaching is the ultimate form of learning, because if I have to teach you, I have to learn those concepts myself. There are so many times when I have been in certain situations where I don't know what the answer could be. For example, there was quite recently somebody asked me, Sandeep, how would you choose to stay in a product or leave a product? And I remember giving her an answer, but then I reflected about it. I thought really deep into it. I researched a lot about it, and that's where I came up with my own opinion. So the fact that I'm writing helps me do my own research and helps me to learn, because now I'm sharing it with you. So therefore, I encourage every one of you to write, because I believe all of us are lifelong learners. Reason number 5, taking a leaf from the cover of what I just said, that since you're becoming lifelong learners, in whatever topic you write, you become better at it. For example, I write about product management. If I have to write an article on product management, trust me, there'll be tons of research that I will do. I will look at existing literature, and my whole point is I don't want to re-emphasize things that have already been listed in existing literature. You might as well go to that literature and read it. I want to put my own thoughts, my own stories behind it. Therefore, I am reading more, I am learning more, and I'm putting my own perspectives as I share content. Therefore, it helps me become a better product manager. It helps me become a better leader, because all of that thought kind of helps me settle down and learn a lot more than what I already know. Reason number 6 why we should all write. I had no idea, but writing builds credibility and it builds confidence as well. I want to share one small story with you. I was in a customer call, and the customer, we were all on a video call, and I came up, and guess what? I was wearing the same black t-shirt that I wear for all my videos, and there is long story behind it which I'll share sometime later if you're interested. But as soon as I got into the customer call, my customer saw me, they saw this background, and they say, I have seen you somewhere. And they think, are you the guy who writes that blog about product management and leadership? I'm like, yeah, and I don't have a lot of followers, but apparently my customer had seen one of my videos or read one of my blogs, and we just broke ice immediately. Like the first 3 minutes of the meeting went about discussing what I write, how do I reflect, and some of the things that I've just said in this video. So what happened in that meeting was that my credibility walked into the room before I did. That aspect of my customer knowing me way before I said hello really helped us land the core message, and it really helped us broke the ice. We actually built a lot of social currency in that meeting just by means of writing this blog, which I had never imagined would ever happen in my life. So reason number 7 why we should all write is because writing helps us find a purpose. I'll tell you my own story about finding purpose. When I started writing blogs, the reason I started writing blogs was because I was conducting sessions and seminars with IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore to tutor budding product managers so that they can choose what subjects they can learn in order to become a product manager. And I found myself repeating the same thing over and over again. Therefore, I did videos and I did blogs so that I can just share that content with them upfront, and then I get invited, because then at least they know some of the basics. And not only the B school students, right? Even others who are interested in product management, they can also learn. So my purpose at that time was only to save my own time. I didn't want to invest effort in speaking exactly the same thing in one-on-ones, in 10 member meetings, or repeating the same thing year over year. My purpose was just to save my time. However, that purpose has changed dramatically. At that time, I had one follower, one person who would listen to what I had to share. And as the followership has increased and as the feedback has come in, I realized that if I create a 10-minute video, or if I write a blog which is a 10-minute read, I am indebted to the reader of my blogs or the viewer of my videos to provide them enough value so that they keep coming back, so that they find that they have something meaningful that they just received from my content. Therefore, my purpose now has changed manyfold. And as I said earlier, if you find that one soul who feels that has been impacted positively from your content, it it just gives you a different kind of feeling. It's not about followership, it's not about subscriptions, it's about the value that you may have delivered to a single person, a single human being who would have achieved something meaningful because of your writing. So these are my 7 reasons why I feel that writing is a necessity, why sharing your stories is a necessity, and I wish that after this blog, if there is one person who feels inspired enough to write content, to do podcasts, to do videos, and share their own stories without worrying about how many subscribers and how many viewers, I have made another big value addition in the life of my viewers, in the life of anybody who reads my blogs or watches my videos. Well, with this, I want to thank you for bearing with me for another 10 minutes and listening to this content. I hope that you found value. Until then, goodbye.